Have you ever wondered, even though you're postmenopausal, how come your cycle rules everything? It rules your relationships, your conversations, your business ideas, your creativity. Anyway, in today's Midlife Freedom Podcast episode, I was lucky enough to interview Alex Coble-Frakes and Anna Sneed from the Agenda Period. And they explain it so beautifully by having a superpower to your own energy level. So grab a cup of tea and I hope you really enjoy the episode. Hello, Alex and Anna. It's so nice to meet you, and I'm pleased that we've got to speak at last. Welcome.
So excited. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
So excited to be here.
Yeah, you're so welcome. So I would love you to tell us just a little bit about the Agenda Period and tell us kind of how it got established and, you know, how you two guys are working together, or gals, obviously, are working together. And then I've got some some questions that I would love to know based on what I know of the work that you do and from our previous conversation as well, Alex, but also recent conversations I've had with women in circle. I think I think you've got some lovely light to shed on some of the things that they've been expressing recently. Okay, so tell me a little bit about you two, first of all, so we know how all of this started.
Yeah, so I'll do like a kind of a snapshot of the agenda until Anna joined, and then Anna can add in why she joined and about her background. So we'll just do like two little chunks, and then we'll talk a bit about what we've been working on since we got together. So
Lovely. Sounds great.
Yay, I'm Alex Coble-Frakes. I am the founder of the Agenda Period. So I have a business degree and I started a health coaching company in 2018. And I found that I had higher sales when I was in the ovulation phase of my menstrual cycle. So my conversion rate actually changed depending on when I had my sales calls. And I was all about working smarter, not harder, but I had never learned about that in business school. No one ever taught me to work with my period to increase my productivity. So
Funny that.
so funny. So I was in a meditation and I had my big magic moment, if you know the work of Elizabeth Gilbert, but I was like in a meditation thinking about this stuff with my data. And I felt this idea come into my brain of like planning with my period in like a planner. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. I got out of my meditation and I went to go buy it. I was like, this got to be on Amazon. This is perfect. I like looked on Amazon, nothing. I looked at Google, nothing. I looked at barnesandnoble.com. I was like, why can't I find a planner for my period? This meditation was very clear that I should have a planner for my period.
Okay.
And it didn't exist. And so that's why we set out to make the Agenda Period in 2019. So this is a redo of our original OG product, but we actually break down the 4 phases of the cycle, show women and menstruators what they can work on with each of those 4 phases. And then we took all that information, created a mobile app. The mobile app connects to Google Calendar. And that was kind of in the works. And then I saw Anna's product we first connected in 2023 because I am like a period stalker now. Like I'm always on the internet trying to find the hottest stuff in hormonal health. And I found what Anna had and I just wanted to know her. I was like, you seem so cool. What you've made is so cool. So do you want to come hang out with me? So I just like DM'd her on Instagram and then Anna, you can pick it up. You can pick it up from there.
Oh my goodness. Okay, right. I'm like hanging on the edge of my seat right now.
Yes. Okay.
Tell us what happened next.
So go back 20 years before that. And
Okay.
I became a high school teacher out of college and I taught high school for 16 years, moved into being an assistant principal and all that good stuff. And then I became a girl mom and that shifted my whole lens of the world. I said, I've got to figure out the things for her that I wasn't able to figure out for myself. And teaching started to become an itchy sweater. So I decided I'm going to leave public education and start my own coaching business. And while I was coaching my clients, my very first client was like, I'm divorcing my husband. You have to help me leave him. And I was like, oh my gosh, I thought you were great. And we realized that the same day, every month of her cycle, she wanted to leave him. And also the same day, every month of her cycle, she was canceling lawyer appointments and going on date nights. And we realized that in her luteal phase, she wanted a divorce. In her ovulatory phase, she was madly in love. And so all of my future clients, I began to ask them, where are you in your cycle? Okay, this is heavy to you right now, but where are you in your cycle? And none of them understood tracking and the phases and things like that. So I recognized in my own relationship that component was missing. Like my moods and my energy were fluctuating and the communication between my husband and I was disjointed. And every month I wanted to run away from home. And I would say, I'm too luteal to have this conversation. He's like, I don't know what that means. Can you like put a sticker on the mirror or something? I was like, oh yes. So I rushed to Canva and I make this cute little window cling that goes on the mirror. And there's a little arrow that I move around and it lets him know which wife he's getting that day or that week. And that's what I was talking about on Instagram when Alex found me. And she was like, I love this thing. I've never seen anything like that. Come talk to me. And history. We built out body literacy curriculum. We have revamped the app where I brought all of my years of education and blended it with her beautiful knowledge of business and, all of that. And here today trying to change the world, Lindsay.
Oh my goodness. I love that. I think it's fantastic. So I've got some questions. Okay.
Okay.
So there is so much focus about the hormones and how it affects our bodies. And, obviously then, the night sweats and the weight gain and all the rest of it. But it sounds to me like what you're really focusing on is actually how that plays out in real life, in how we show up in the world, relationships, career, productivity, as you say. So tell me a little bit more about it. Would you give us kind of a brief lesson in how that all works? And also, I mean, I may have been living under a rock and there is a high chance that could have happened. I lived in Canada for a while. But I was never tracking anything. I never knew to track anything. I didn't suffer with periods. I had regular periods. It was all easy peasy. So when they stopped, I was just a bit like, oh, well, they've gone.
That's supposed to be, people are supposed to be like, when we're really attuning to our body, our periods kind of flow in and out. They're our health report card, right? So they kind of flow in and out, and it's not a big deal because we're supposed to be able to be healthy and whole throughout the entire life of our cycle from our period all the way through menopause. And yet, because of the lack of support in the modern world, less and less women are finding that experience to be true or reflective
Okay.
of their own experience. The high rates of birth control, non-natural food, lack of cyclical support, high rates of adrenal fatigue, like all of these things are we're seeing show up in the bodies of women and menstruators around the planet because they lack that fundamental education on how to work with their bodies. So I'll do like the 4-phase breakdown really quick so we can all get on the same page. Yeah, this is from Red School in the UK where I first heard about this. So yay, Red School. If you haven't heard of them, they're a great organization. But they talk about the cycle as the 4 seasons. And so this is a way that I think if folks are kind of confused about the topic, this is a great entry point. This was a perfect entry point for me. So our menstrual phase is our inner winter time. So think about the stuff that you need in winter. You're more hibernating. You want warming foods, cooked vegetables. So kind of follow that protocol for your body on your bleed. So this is how we start counting our cycle. Day 1 of your bleed is day 1 of your new cycle, and you count days from day 1 all the way to day 1 of the next cycle. Then the follicular phase is our springtime. So this is when estrogen is on the rise. And this is when we are busy bees. So we can start to do the plan that we made when we were on our period. So we get stuff done, network, be on podcasts, whatever the case may be. It's a really great time for that social energy because from our period through ovulation, women are on a pro-social orientation with their hormones, meaning it's much easier for us to say yes and to get out there in the world and do things for other folks. Ovulation is our inner summertime. So this is potency, hot, short phase. Thank God, because my libido's through the roof during this time. And this would be unproductive if I was always in the ovulation phase. So this is a great time for manifesting, receiving, asking for a raise, getting your husband to book that vacation, sales calls, content, brand photo shoots, anything like that for the world of work. That's like magnetic, high energy time. And then the luteal phase is our inner winter or inner autumn time. So it's good for analyzing and organizing. And so when you understand those 4 seasons, thinking of the tools you would need outside for diet, movement, and productivity, that's what's happening to us every single month, 12 times a year. So it's pretty interesting when we start to layer all those pieces together.
Okay. Completely blown away. So with my shamanic work, we focused on how we were in tune with the seasons as, externally with nature. And also the fact that as you go through your female life, you go through the seasons as well. But to then take it down to a monthly level,
brilliant, right? It's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Amazing. So tell me, how does that affect relationships? Because you talked about this, Anna, how it affected your relationship, and that's why you made the app. So
Yeah.
can you give us a kind of a guide to how that affects relationships?
Definitely, definitely. So during that menstrual phase, that inner winter, you're more introspective and you're womb like. You just want to be channeling the things from the universe. You're bringing all the things inside, and it's a very internally focused um, mindset that you're in.
Okay.
And so having your partner understand what's happening with your energy and your mood, it has shifted. We call this little thing, it's your cycle circle, but we call it the marriage saver.
Yeah.
Because my husband will come in and he'll have a conversation with me and he'll know what type of energy to expect in return. And he's not taking it personally. Because
Wow.
men are like the sun. They're up and down every single day. And we're over here every 28 days cycling. And so he wakes up the same person every day.
Mm.
And so it's easier for them to fit into our schedule than it is for us to fit into theirs. And that's where you're getting like the butting heads and the friction is when you are trying to jump into a circadian with rhythm when you're more infradian driven. And so this has revolutionize the way that we communicate with each other because he knows when to take things seriously. He knows when to plan personal outings and professional outings. He knows when Auntie so and so probably needs to stay over there because my mouth is a little bit looser with a little less fluff to it. And so like I told you before, I homeschool my daughter and we do our homeschool schedule around my menstrual cycle. Like my brain and my body are ripe for certain things at certain times. And we're the speed of engineering that once you know how once you've read the operation manual, then you know how to operate the heavy machinery, which is the beautiful women that we are.
Oh my goodness, this is just like life changing. So
Mhm.
at what stage is it a good time for women to have this sort of conversation with their partner to say, this is what's going on. It would be really useful for you to know because I am no longer the same woman that, I used to be. How,
Ooh,
who would like to take that one on?
Say
go ahead,
take
Alex.
notes in the luteal phase because the luteal phase I kind of lost this part, but like the luteal phase is our pro self time. So this is when our hormones turn inward during the month because they're trying to protect a potential pregnancy. So if you got impregnated during ovulation, your body's trying to protect that and help nurture and grow that. And so we really turn inward during the luteal phase. So the luteal phase, because of the progesterone and just the way our hormones are, can give us a lot of clarity around what's going well and what's not going well.
Okay.
So I say fact find, get the notes from the mission organized during the luteal phase because you've got a lot of internal clarity. And deliver the message to your partner, probably in the follicular phase, if you want the highest rate of success, because you're going to have increased estrogen. You won't take it as personally if they don't respond or receive everything that you're bringing to them. And you have a more social niceness that's just in tune with higher rates of estrogen. And so if we're trying to work smarter, not harder, I'm like, take the cheat code. Gather your notes and be clear about your case file during the luteal phase, and then deliver the message very kindly during the follicular phase. Because we're in interhuman communication, we always want to make sure we're striving for the best results, and we're going to get those if we take a harsh message and we deliver it during our kindest time of the month. So that is my recommendation. I've tried to do it the other way, where I gather my notes in the follicular phase and then give the feedback in the luteal phase, and it always comes out too hot. It just comes out too hot when you deliver the feedback in the luteal.
Yes, it definitely depends on what the message is. And I used to talk to my clients like, don't make big decisions in the luteal phase. But then I was like, wait a minute, luteal she's not for the nonsense. She is all about the black and the white. And you said you were going to take out the trash. Why is the trash still sitting here? But follicular Anna will be like, oh, I forgot the trash. I'll just do it. And so by the time I get to luteal again, I'm pissed off about all the times I had to take out the trash. So it depends on the message. But yes, Alex and I like to heavy conversations, we bleed on it, we say. We're upset about it in the luteal phase. We let the messages download during menstrual and we deliver it kindly in the follicular phase.
Okay.
You
So
get more flies with honey than vinegar, as they say. And
Mhm.
as a previously vinegar girly myself, I'm really trying to embrace delivering the messages in the follicular phase.
fair enough. Oh my goodness, this is absolutely fascinating. So when so how does that so how does that change from going from your regular cycle to then perimenopausal to then menopausal? How does that reflect in your outer world, apart from obviously sweating everywhere, but you know, just with general life, how does that then change?
Now, Alex just did a great explanation about being pro-social and pro-self
Yeah.
during your monthly cycles. Perimenopause, see, is a shift to your more pro-self orientation. So if you look at the time that you're most fertile, you're pro-social. You're like, make a baby, connect with people, be pretty, be cute, make friends. And then once you shift, something happens in perimenopause. And I had an identity crisis because I was that girl. And then I shifted to get someone else to do it. I don't want to be the head of that thing. I'm not going to arrange that. I turned more inward. And so perimenopause is more of a perpetual luteal phase.
Right.
You have the fluctuation, but what's happening in your mind and in your spirit is more pro self. It's less outward. Like the bra doesn't come on every day. The hair
Mm,
isn't done every day. Like I don't care anymore the
mm,
same way I cared when I was 20 something. And so, yes, it's this time that we get to shift and our knowledge dissemination is important to us, like passing
yes.
down our wisdom and
Mm,
soft, warm things and intentional living
mm.
and just creating the sense of community where we are not on the go, the hot girl, the lights, camera, action girly anymore. And that leads you into your postmenopausal chapter of life.
Okay. So how do you then do you still need to um obviously you can't track the cycle, or can you track the cycle?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
how do you
Yeah.
do that? So sorry, I'm
So
still under this rock, I think. What is going on?
No, we love it. We love it here.
yeah, so perimenopause they've started to call it like puberty in reverse, or
Yes.
cougar puberty is a one I really like. And so it's not that our bleed and our ovulation goes away, but we're just in this period of fluctuation where at first we typically progesterone gets messed with first, so that hormone that keeps us calm during the second half. So when we don't have as much of that being supported, then our periods can come early.
Mhm.
Or we can our body will start to kick off more and more eggs, so we get our cycles that are closer together at first because of this
Yep.
boost in estrogen. This reduction in progesterone makes our cycles come closer and closer together. So maybe you go from 29 30 days to like 24 25 days, and they can get closer together. And then you'll hit a point where they shift and they start getting longer and longer and longer and longer and longer apart. And so you go an entire year without having a single bleed,
Yep.
and there's one day called menopause, and now tomorrow you wake up, you're
Yep.
postmenopausal, right? So it's like this weird little, it's really like a milestone. It's like monarchy. It's like your first period and your last period, and you get a stamp in the ground. So when you're first tracking that, if you've already been tracking your cycle and you're still getting a bleed, you can watch them as they get longer and shorter. And there's a bunch of holistic stuff that you can do to track or to support those symptoms, that symptomatic relief as you're going through perimenopause. And if you're completely free range, like maybe you've gone 6 months without a cycle, or you're pregnant, or you are totally postpartum, we have our users track with the phases of the moon, because this is some wisdom passed down from indigenous
Mhm.
cultures, like that has been passed down, and luckily the wisdom has been preserved for us to take the advantage of it. So really considering, if you're totally off map, you can tap into those phases of the moon. So taking the new moon as your bleed, as the moon goes up in the sky, the waning, right? Waning,
Like,
waxing,
yes.
waxing. I always forget. I'm like, we need
I
a
know, I
different
get them mixed
two
up.
W's. Yeah. So as the moon is going towards full, that's like your follicular energy. You
Yeah.
can literally kind of feel the energy getting pulled on the whole earth, because the moon moves water. It's crazy,
Yeah.
right? Then the full moon's that ovulation energy. And then as you go down the other side to the waning moon, that is when like you're into that follicular energy and the whole cycle begins again. And so having this feminine flow to tap
Okay.
into, that's right up there in the sky, is a perfect way to continue to orient yourself if you're feeling pretty confused as to what's going on in your body.
Anything that you want to add to that, Anna?
Yes, we just say if you are no longer bleeding for whatever reason, you are a moon goddess. You should be tapping to the energy of the moon. Channel her in, yes, and put an app on your phone, put it in your calendar, and know the phases of the moon, and you will be able to track your energy and watch it sync up to the moon. It's a beautiful thing.
I literally feel as though you have just opened the instruction book. Because I work with the moon and I'm frequently out there in the garden, just, under the moon, whether it's a new moon, and I'm setting intentions and I'm clearing out old energy and all the rest of it. But I feel like you've just given me the instruction book for doing what I'm doing, but at a completely different level.
And I love what you just said, clearing out on the new moon. And that's
Yes.
what our body is doing. Bleeding is literally a clear out of the anything stagnant. They talk a lot about it in different traditions, how that's part of why our body keeps bleeding, is like the release, the shed, getting rid of anything stagnant. Because the womb, if we want to get woo, let's do it for a second, is this great mystical thing that holds the codes and the cosmos, because we create more humans with just a little bit of juice and an egg. And it's just blows my mind that I was pregnant with twins, and I was like, my body could be making kidneys right now. I don't know. We could be doing hair. Who's to say? Because this has the codes. And so we can see how we have a cyclical planet, and how we tap in so easily with the moon. It just gives me chills every time.
Yeah. So since you both found this out, I'm going to put this to you individually. Since you found this out, how does it actually change how you live your life? I mean, obviously you, Anna, said it's changed your relationship and your communication, and so then you also said about homeschooling. What else?
The way we eat, the way we move. There's
okay.
you should be eating differently through the phases of your cycle. If you think of how you eat, if you live in a place with 4 seasons, think of how you eat. You want warm, meaty stews when you're in the wintertime, and you want a mojito and a salad in the summertime. Just you shift how you eat. We shift how we move. You can lift super heavy the first week of your luteal phase. HIIT and cardio is great during your ovulation phase. If you're training your body, there's certain ways that you should be moving your body, and it should be cyclically as well. So yes, we over here, we orient our entire lives around our cycle. It is now our personality, and it's what we do.
Amazing. How about you, Alex?
I mean, same. So I went through a divorce in the process of building this company because my ex was just not really interested in living in tune with my cycle in a way. He saw it being effective, but not really being interested in participating. So I said, toss the whole man out and start again. And because all of my friends in perimenopause were going through their perimenopause divorces, and I was a little early, and I was like, wait, you mean this guy's not going to change if I give him another 10 of my hot years? And they're like, no, he won't. He is this person. And I'm like, huh. No, thank you. So now my partner and I, he'll pull up my schedule, my period, before he's like, oh no, let's not plan that for that weekend. That's not going to work well, because he also needs me. We have 3 kids under the age of 5. He needs me to be mentally in the game. So why would he tag in his teammate on a time where I'm going to be benched this whole weekend? What? Don't plan it like that. So he will look weeks in advance, months in advance, to kind of see where I should approximately be before we plan stuff with extended family. When we look at our entire schedule. And it's something I've started to talk to my kids about since they were old enough to understand words. I'm not fun park mom on my period. So if you want to go to the park, I'll take you, and I'm going to be sitting down in this spot. And so then I let them decide, does that still sound like fun? If you really want mommy to play, let's stay home today and we'll do blocks. We'll snuggle and watch a show together. But understanding this before I had kids, I was a complete gift, because I started teaching this content before I had kiddos. And a mom said to me, this relieves all the mom guilt I've ever had. And I wish I would have met you 10 years ago, because I couldn't understand. And now looking back, ovulation mom, the mom my kids get in the follicular phase and the ovulation phase, is what society holds up as the best mom you could be. I'm volunteering at their school. I'm taking them to the park. We're doing homemade cookies, everything like that. And then the luteal phase, I feel like I fell off a cliff and I just thought I was doing it wrong. And it's really just how this orientation changes. So learning that really helped me not beat myself up as I became a parent is like the best gift to my motherhood that could have ever happened. So yeah, we live everything around here based on my cycle.
Amazing. Because just from what you've said, and certainly being involved in, because I've got 3 kids, and being involved in their lives and volunteering for everything and organizing everything and being out and about with them. And as you say, when you're clearly in the wrong phase, which I didn't realize I was in the wrong phase, when you are in the wrong phase, you literally feel like your world is falling apart. You can't do it anymore. You're not the mum you thought you were. What on earth do you set yourself up for, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And as you say, mum guilt
Through
just
the roof.
in spades.
Yep.
It is. And
Yeah.
Alex and I both have daughters. And so my daughter gets to understand her cyclical nature and understand how to support another cyclical person. And so it is a win-win. And watching her father tap into my cycle and go with my flow, pun intended, is teaching her what to expect in her life. And so it it's intuitive. It just makes sense to do. And everybody wins when you do it this way. Everybody does. Just
Mm.
like Alex said, they want the best version of us too. And if they're not getting the best version, it's best for mama to stay home and you go to the trampoline park. Cause I'm not doing the trampoline park on my bleed.
Yeah,
I'm not.
seriously. Oh my goodness, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, you did mention about your friends being in the divorce camp through perimenopause. Okay, so how does this relate to divorce? Because I asked for a divorce in perimenopause. Yes, and then just by coincidence, again, July 4th is when I landed back in England to start over on my own, and that was the um probably, I think that was the last bleed. So that was that. I literally stopped my periods and hit
Wow.
menopause, the day of menopause on my first week back in England. That was it. I was postmenopause.
I love that. It has so much to do with divorce. We're seeing 70% of divorces initiated by women kind of worldwide as to how this has been extrapolated out are happening in perimenopause. And overall, we look at like overall divorce, I think it's about 80% of divorces initiated by women. So of the vast majority, women are already asking for the majority of divorces because we now have access to capital, careers, and finances. So we're the vast majority of divorce is initiated by women, and the vast majority of those is happening during perimenopause. And what we're onto and what we're seeing with the agenda is it's really about the pro-social, pro-self orientation. As women are spending in perimenopause, they spend more and more time in their pro-self orientation, which gives them a lot of clarity as to what's working and what is not working. And so women will start to get more, I think, consistent about asking for these things to change, more direct about what is not happening in their relationship, and then that hormonal clarity. So a lot of people are trying to paint this as women being crazy, and that's just patently false. It's really like women getting this clarity around partnerships, relationships, jobs, what is working and what is not working, and then having the audacity to demand better for themselves. Oh, the audacity of a woman to actually
Imagine.
do something. Imagine
Yeah.
that, right? So that's what we're really seeing is happening during this time is that women are starting to stand up for themselves, understanding what's going on, and then asking for the people in their circle to have the standard that they're having because it just doesn't feel good to do things that feel subpar to you anymore during this time as we're moving through this really big identity shift.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I always talk about it as it is an awakening because for me, it also came from a very spiritual place that we've stopped the sort of the childbearing years, and now, as you said right at the beginning, we want to share information, we want to give back, we want to build community, and we're also really claiming our power back. It is
Yes.
the puberty.
Yes. And if your partner is not on board with this new shift, that's when women are leaving. I'm asking for this. And I may sound crazy because I've never asked for this before. I've never demanded this. I've never shown up this straightforward before. I've let a lot of things slide. So yeah, you probably think I'm crazy.
Oh,
But if more women understood what was happening to their brain and their body and were
mm.
able to let their partner know, outcomes could shift and be different. Or, that guy, he's just not going to change. He's not going to get with the program and and he gets left. And it
Yeah.
is, and hearing this information was revolutionizing for my mind, because I was like, wait, we are one of like 4 species that have a menopause. Like, it's men's job to make the baby. Like, our job stops at a certain time. And that's why they get better with looking with age, is because they have to keep the species going. We don't. Our job is over at a certain time. And then we have a whole new job, because we have another 40 or 50 years to live without being the life bringers and creators. And
Yeah.
so Mother Nature had a divine design when women
Doesn't she always?
were created. Yes.
Now, I'm very conscious of time. So what I would love to do, I mean, this has been absolutely fascinating and so inspirational, educational. Thank you. I think I've now come out from under my rock. How can people find you? And can people order the journal worldwide? Cool.
That is on Amazon. Check that out on Amazon or on our website, theagendaperiod.com. There is a clearinghouse for all things cyclical goodness and holistic return to yourself. We do a blog. We've got lots of cool products. So that's kind of the best clearinghouse for folks, is theagendaperiod.com. You can find me on TikTok talking smack about the patriarchy and the menstrual cycle, and Anna is really bringing the juice to our Instagram page, talking about all of the things. So you see our content everywhere. Come hang out with us. Come buy a journal. We got some perfume for the cycle. Like, just come hang out with us and tap into your own cyclical wisdom. So thank you so much for having us today.
Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
thank you.
Absolutely joyous. I've so enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much.
It's been magical.
Hi, what did you think of the show? So great to have you here. I hope you really enjoyed it and hope you took something away from it too. Anything that was mentioned in the show, you'll find the links in the show notes down below. But also, while you're here, I'd love to invite you to come over and join our free community, the Midlife Freedom Club. The Midlife Freedom Club was exactly what I wish that I'd had when I was going through designing my new life and my reinvention. So the Midlife Freedom Club is full of resources for you. It has the podcast in one easy place to access all of the information. You'll get mindset shifts in there. You'll get small training courses, and you'll also get Q&A sessions and weekly calls. So you can come in there and just have some all-round foundation building life coaching within that community. So if you're reinventing yourself or you're designing your next chapter, it is the community that you want to be in. It's full of midlife women who are stepping up, using all of their fantastic experience to move forward into their next chapter, into their freedom era. So if that's you, come and join us in the community. I'd love to see you there. And you'll find the link below.